Good evening.
How are you this evening?
I am doing phenomenal. How are you?
I am awesome. Oh, but you beautiful this evening.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I believe I've been on the call several times with you, but just to introduce myself, my name is Rama Walker. I am part of the Black Wall Street team, and I serve as the executive director of events. And I'm
Awesome.
happy to host you today as you give your presentation. I think we'll wait a couple of minutes or so to see if anybody else is going to join us.
Okay.
I know we have Andrew on as well. And so will you be going first, Miss Eileen?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right, let's
I have
just
my
give
notes from
it.
last time here.
Say that again.
I have my notes from last time that he wrote the
Okay.
book, How to Be a Life Insurance Agent, Guide to Help Aspiring Entrepreneurs, adjusterpro.com, and all that good stuff.
Awesome.
I'm a note
Well,
taker.
out of respect for everybody's time, we can just go ahead and get started. I just want to introduce you to our community. Eileen is the owner of Wills and More. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And she is your go-to woman for estate planning and legal services with her partner company, Legal Shield. And Eileen's going to do her presentation. And after that, I'll go ahead and introduce Andrew in between. So you have the floor. Do you need the ability to share?
Yes, please.
Okay. Check and see if you have that.
No, it says it's still disabled.
Okay, Frank, are you able to give her the ability to share? Because I don't think I'm the host. Okay, you should be good to go.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, I'm always like to just double check. She's seen it. Okay, great. Are you seeing the full screen? Okay, great. So, hi, my name is Eileen Marcial. I am the founder and CEO of Wills and More LLC. And the question I'm going to ask you tonight is, do you have a legal team working with your family and your business? One of the greatest tragedies right now in our communities is that we build amazing businesses. We are real estate investors of the highest level. We have all these properties. But if we don't have an estate plan in place, family, our businesses die with us. It happened to my cousin. Our properties end up in probate and ultimately sheriff sales. That's not why we did this. We wanted to leave legacies, not mysteries. And so that's why I want to share this information with you, because I have a passion for making sure we leave estates in place. And up to date, since the pandemic, I've been blessed to assist on over 380 love letter will packages so that businesses aren't dying with people. Okay, so let me go into this presentation because I want to be very brief. What we have is called the crown jewel. It gives you unlimited personal and business legal advice. So it protects both sides of your empire. So what does that look like? It looks like this. For the family legal services, it's $29.95 a month. So you have your personal contracts and documents reviewed up to 15 pages. Unlimited personal legal advice, whether it's about your child's school, whether it's about if you want to get your car wrapped and not get your car wrapped and what are the repercussions. I say that because I just got my car wrapped and it's amazing, right? But the estate planning documents are what I'm passionate about. We will do the will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, financial power of attorney, and minors trust for you and your family members up to the age of 26. And if you get a moving violation, and I know that the folks in Black Wall Street are movers and shakers, so they're speeding tickets sometimes, never fret, take a picture of it, hit submit, and the attorney goes to court with you, whether it's in your home state or out of state. We have 24-hour day access to attorneys if there's an emergency situation. So if you're at your place of business, there's a problem. If you're driving while Black, it is a problem. Wherever you are, you have access to an attorney from the palm of your hand. And as I mentioned, it covers you, your spouse, your children up to the age of 26. And if by chance you have a child with special needs, regardless of their age. Now, on the other side of the crown jewel, we have the home business part. So we cover up to 5 EIN numbers. We are masters at being entrepreneurs. And so we start one thing and then that turns into something else. So we're going to give you advice and representation or information, not specifically representation, but we're going to make sure that you get your questions answered for up to 5 EIN numbers nationwide. If you are that real estate person and you have 10 Airbnbs, residential rental properties, and there's a problem, we will give you the advice on what to do instead of having to pay an attorney to do so. And we give you such sound advice, you're going to end up sounding like you are an attorney. Far too often, we use our gut or Google to make our business decisions. So instead of doing that, you can have 4 business contracts or documents up to 25 pages reviewed a month. That's 48 business contracts, up to 25 pages. The bold print gives and the fine print takes away, family. So if you need more than 4 contracts, we're going to do it for $75. The crazy thing is that I know that you know most attorneys charge at least $200 an hour. And if you hand an attorney a contract, you know they're going to start reading really slowly. So it's going to take more than an hour to do it. So you're in the right place at the right time to make sure your contracts are reviewed. We provide you with unlimited business legal advice and phone calls and letters if you feel you were treated unfairly. And if you have that situation where you provided your services and somebody didn't want to pay, we do debt collection letters. Now, we are not of the soprano mafia kind of approach. We're not writing a letter saying we're going to break your kneecaps if you don't pay your bill. But we will write a well and tersely written letter with attorney's letter and a bunch of attorneys' names on it to scare the people into paying you. And if you get audited by the IRS for your Schedule C and or E, we will represent you. So that's the crown jewel. But do you need an LLC? Most folks do, but guess what? We have a product called Launched by Legal Shield. I have 28 people using this service right now. For $149, it includes the crown jewel for 3 entire months. And what we ask is, what do you want to call your business? And when you ask that question, what do you want to call your business? What we're able to do is look to see if somebody's using it already, so that once that name is yours, you can brand your business because we've checked the name and we've registered it with the state. We'll give you startup consultations. We'll form your LLC for either one business entity or it's one business entity, but we could do it for multi people for that business entity. We'll make sure you have your tax ID or EIN number if you don't have it already. And we will create your articles of incorporation or organization, and we're going to prepare it and file it for you. Most folks don't realize this, but sometimes you do. When you do have an LLC, you want to have somebody else make sure that they're staying on top of the tax ramifications. So you'll have registered agent services available. That $149 does not include the filing fee for your state. But far too often, we just want to save a penny here and end up doing it wrong and losing business in the interim. So sometimes it's just better to just have this in place, know that your legacy is protected, your crown jewel is in place. So we have other services. We have Identity Theft Shield. And with Identity Theft Shield, we just simply put, you want to have good personal credit, because good personal credit will get you business credit, which leads to access to other people's money. And that's what we want to fund our businesses with. That's what we want to fund our real estate deals with. So our identity theft product will do the monitoring to make sure that if there's something on your credit score, we're going to get it taken care of. For the new business owner, we have website builders through our Business Plus supplement, access to vital business forms, and we have a CRM for your contacts and your potential customers, so you can stay on top of it. So that's another $14.95, but I've seen folks on Clubhouse charging $19.95 to do the very same thing. But I don't mean $19.95. I mean $1,995, and this is $180 for the year. We have small business plans for those folks that want to trademark their business or have exposure to litigation. There's the Plus plan, which is $113.95. Or the Pro plan, which is $185.95. But the thing is that you want to protect the front and back end of your business. And if by chance someone sues your company, you don't want to pay $250 an hour for 100 hours when you can have 100 hours for $180. So I just want to share one more thing with you. This is the pricing for peace of mind and protection. If you just want to do the crown jewel, you're at $44.90. This is a legitimate tax write-off. If you wanted to do it as a family, it's $79.85. If you wanted to do the bigger plan that includes the trial defense, it's $113 or $183. The business plus supplement is $14.95. But there's one more thing I wanted to share in closing. There's an opportunity to earn an additional passive income stream, and collaboration is the new currency. So please feel free to contact me. I'm Eileen Marcial. This is my number. This is my email address. And I love working with families to make sure we leave legacies instead of mysteries, and that we do not use Google or our gut to make our business decisions. So thanks for allowing me to share, family. And my information's up here. I'll put it in the chat also.
Thank you, Eileen. That was some great information. I do want to kind of go back a couple of slides or get a better understanding for those who are listening as to how it all fits together. Is it that you have to get an overarching plan and then there's some add-ons, or is it a la carte where you could just kind of put together the plan that works the best for you?
Excellent, excellent question. So I'm going to go back to this page here with the price of peace of mind. The basic plan is the legal plan, which is $29.95. But because we're business owners, we offer the crown jewel. The crown jewel is the legal plan at $29.95 plus the home business supplement. That includes the 5 EIN numbers, the 10 residential rental properties, the 4 business contracts, or additional contracts of $75. So it is, you cannot get the home business supplement without the legal plan, because it's a supplement. Because you know that you can't go and just eat a bunch of vitamin C and have the nourishment you need. So you need to have that base. You need to have the main course. And the main course is the legal plan. So you have $44.90, which is a legitimate tax write-off. If you wanted to be able to use other people's money by getting your credit in order and having that in place as an individual, it's either $19.95 or it's $34.95. So you're either at $63.85 or you're either $63.85 if you're an individual or $79.85 if you're a family. The small business plus is separate and distinct from the crown jewel. That is for one EIN number, and that one EIN number provides you with contracts and documents reviewed. It provides you with a trademark or a copyright, 1 per year at no additional cost other than the filing fee. So I love that service. I have the $113.95 and the crown jewel because I like to have my contracts reviewed, but I also need to get my trademark done. The Launch by Legal Shield, I didn't put that on here. I got to make sure I add that to the slide. That's $149, and that $149 includes the crown jewel, which is the legal plan, and the home business supplements. That's 3 months of the $44.90, and we do everything you need to have done for your LLC to be set up in your state with no mistakes, no issues, so you can go straight into doing your business and making the money you're out to make as a small business owner. But the crown jewel does include the estate planning documents, which is so important. So we need to leave that legacy.
Love it, love it. This is so great. I mean, I recently just had a conversation with one of my friends who started an LLC back in January, and that's literally as far as she's gone with it. And so I'll definitely be sending her your way to help put some meat and potatoes around her business and give her some guidance. The other question I had was related to the attorney support. So what does that look like? Do you get a different person every time you call, or is it a team of people that are familiar? How does that work?
Excellent question, Rama. I love it. I love it. I love it. So what happens is that we have attorneys in each state. When you are part of the home business supplement part of the legal plan, there's a dedicated set of attorneys for the small business part. If you choose to do launch, you're going to get an email welcoming you, and you're going to be working with an attorney that's going to walk you through. They're going to ask you the questions. What kind of business are you starting? What are you looking to do? What's the name? So we can make sure that everything is consistent and you're able to brand your business. And you're going to be working with specific attorneys. You may not get the same attorney, but there's only 1 or 2 attorneys that handle that part in that attorney for each state, in that law office for each state. We handpick our attorneys so that we know that we own their phone lines. They slip up and don't call somebody back, we know about it and we're all over it. And I'm a bit of a pit bull. I like to frame the questions for my team, for my family member. I call them family members, but for my clients. I'm like, before you call, let's go over what it is you need to get done. Right? Because I field the questions and I'm on the phone listening to people for 45 minutes explaining the situation. And that's not how, you don't really want to speak to an attorney for 45 minutes about it, because they need to know what you need to have done. So this is the problem. This is what I need to have it resolved. Can you do it?
Right.
And by using that simple formula, we have had great success because the law firm appreciates a person knows what they want.
Absolutely.
And an attorney and the members appreciate knowing that the attorney knows what they want and is willing and able to get that result they need. So I really truly love the whole space that we're in. I've assisted on over 130 of these crown jewel packages and close to 400 love letter will packages.
Love it, love it, love it. Mastermind family, this is such a great value. So hopefully you've taken the time to get Miss Eileen's information down so that you can learn more about, elevating your business. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
for having me.
joining us. So I'm gonna just give Andrew a couple of seconds to get on camera and I'll do
I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Andrew, how are you? Good evening.
Hey, good afternoon, Black Wall Street. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here with us. So for those that are watching, Andrew is a professional insurance adjuster and author who teaches young professionals how they can create a thriving career as a licensed insurance adjuster. So this is really exciting to hear. Let me just make sure that you have the ability to share and then we can just get your presentation going.
It looks like I can share, yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead and get started and we are eagerly listening.
All right, so again, thanks for having me. My name is Andrew. I'm a licensed insurance adjuster, licensed public adjuster. I've been doing this for about 7.5 years. Worked the tri-state area, PA, New Jersey, Maryland. I worked in New York, Delaware as well. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'm also a licensed life insurance broker. As mentioned, I recently published a book in January explaining in great detail, but very simply, how to not only enter the insurance adjusting industry, but more importantly, how to plot an exit. And I think that's something that a lot of times is left out when it comes to teaching. We tell people, how to get in, but we don't give them help them develop a long-term plan. And I believe that that's critical. That's why I created my book and my website, so on and so forth. So, yeah, moving on. I did some thinking because actually 2 weeks ago I was in the presentation and I had the worst reception. So I appreciate everyone being gracious with me and inviting me to come back. And if you can't hear me, just let me know. But I have this saying that I personally believe in, and that saying is that America runs on slavery. And I have a couple of different reasons why I believe that. You look at the public school system and, John D. Rockefeller's involvement in that. I know Dr. Boyce Watkins, the video on that on March 20th, I found that to be very interesting, talking about that. The purpose of the school system was essentially, as Morpheus says in The Matrix, to turn a human being essentially into a battery. Just to make them a slave for other people to create profit off of. And I take personal offense to that. As the saying goes, I take that personally. But I didn't just get in my feelings. I decided to do something about it. And so I created a guide because I felt like looking at my life, people look at me and they think I'm a lot younger than I am, but looking at my life and seeing the path I've come, I realized how much faster I could have gotten to financial freedom had I known about this industry. So I created a guide primarily directed towards youth and young adults to help them realize how simple it is to get in and the kind of profit opportunities available to them. I'm gonna try not to let my passion run away with me this time because I know we're on a time limit. I know that happened before, so I don't want to do that again. But there's a couple of things I want to go over I have some slides. I just want to talk about what insurance adjusting is, some examples of the opportunities so you can see them firsthand, some of the money I've made, and I'm probably going to just exit talking about my book and just basic thoughts on developing an exit strategy. Can everybody hear me fine?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can hear you, but we don't see your screen yet if you've started sharing.
No, thank
Okay.
you. No, I haven't started sharing yet. So to keep it simple, insurance adjusting is very simple. You know, I mean, a teenager could do it. It's a very simple process. It's just the process of when an insurance claim is filed, it's the investigation and ultimately the settlement process of a claim. So investigation means you go out, you get the pictures, you get the measurements of the affected areas, you develop a repair estimate, whether you write it yourself or you collaborate with someone else to develop that. You generate a report and you submit those findings. That's essentially the three components of insurance adjusting: the pictures, the repair estimate, the final report. Super simple stuff, not difficult at all. As I mentioned before, there's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, every Black youth especially should not have this knowledge. And it's my personal mission to make sure that this information is pushed to that audience. So that's essentially what insurance adjusting is. Property insurance adjusting is the most profitable. Obviously, there's auto and liability and so on and so forth. But when it comes to real estate, I mean, that's from what I've learned, you know, one of the driving factors in pushing and helping people become millionaires in the United States. So property insurance adjusting is definitely the avenue I endorse. Is the topic I talk about in my book. So moving on. Like I said, I had some, let me just go ahead and share this just a moment. Let me share my screen. Thanks for your patience. All right, here we go. All right, so, okay, this is actually not what I want to show you. Just a moment. I actually have a folder on my computer. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Just appreciate your patience. I may not be able to share that, but I'm hoping that I can. Okay, there we go. Wait, can you guys see my folders? Or you're not able to see it? Okay, I cannot hear you. You're muted.
We see your folders.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right, so let's just, like I said, you know, telling people about this industry is great, but ultimately the money speaks. And I think that was the motivating factor for me to want to get into it. So let me just point out, I guess we can start with opportunities and pay, we'll go into my past income, and then we'll go from there. So let's see. I just want to show you guys some of the opportunities that are available in this industry. Here we go. So this is one that I actually got from a firm called Cross Country Adjusting. This was a couple of weeks ago. I actually got this. You can see the emails dated March 27th. Rather, that's when I screenshotted this. The pay, you know, they were offering $2,520 up to $5,000+ per week. You could do the work remotely. And again, you know, you working from home, operating as an insurance adjuster. Essentially, you just would be reviewing the files that adjusters in the field turn in. It's pretty good pay to be able to sit in your butt and work. So that's one thing I wanted to show you. Let's see. I won't go through all these because it probably get kind of boring pretty fast. Let's see. Here's another opportunity. This was 2021. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me know if you can't. This is, again, another work from home role. I can't highlight this, but you can see this. I'll make this a little bit bigger so that there's no question, people can understand what we're looking at. So this is a desk adjuster role. Again, you're still working as an insurance adjuster, but this is a work from home role, $525 a day. If you work 5
We're not
days a week.
seeing what you're saying, sir.
Yeah, we just
seeing
see
your,
the
we're still seeing your
thumbnails.
files.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm still learning this system. Okay, great. Can you see now what I'm looking at? This
Yes.
Southwest Adjusters. Okay, great. So this is a work from home role. Again, I wanted to show the pay rate. It's $525 a day. Working from home, all you need is, you know, just to be licensed in a couple different states. And we'll go over the entry requirements for this industry. They're super low, which again is why I'm so interested in making youth aware of this opportunity. But again, $525 a day. If you were to work for $525 a day, 5 days a week, $26.25 a week. Do that for 4 weeks out of the month. It's over 10 grand. And in my opinion, you know, most people don't need 10 grand to live if it's just them or them and one other person. So again, it's a pretty good entry role opportunity. We'll go over one more shot. I'm not going to pull up all these because I don't want it to become monotone. Let's see, just a moment. Let's see what other kind of roles there are. Okay, let's see. Here we go. There's this role here. Let me know if you can't see it. This was actually very interesting because I got this opportunity offered to me in 2021, I think it was. And you didn't technically need, you did need an adjuster's license, but the work you were doing wasn't actually adjusting. And as you can see here, the pay rate is $9.50 a day. It's like a, 10-hour day, but essentially all you were doing was just taking pictures of affected items at a U-Haul facility and labeling the pictures and uploading them. It's pretty amazing pay for such simple responsibilities. So again, you know, I closed that out. We'll get back into other stuff I wanted to get into in just a minute, but the reason I bring this up is because, you know, I think it's very important that our youth realize that there are other ways to make a living besides breaking your back and working all day. You can actually create a sustainable living without having to go the route that's typically advertised to us, such as going to college. You know, to get into this industry, you don't need to go to college. You don't even need to be a high school graduate, which is amazing. You just need to meet 5 basic qualities. You just need to be of sound mind and character, be age 18. You need to be no more than $2,500 in child support and arrears. And if you have that kind of issue, then you just need to have a payment plan going on. Same with your IRS taxes. And of course, you need to make sure you don't have a criminal background. Another thing that's really interesting about this industry that I think is super important is the fact that there's 16 states out of all the states in the US don't even require you to have a license to be an adjuster. So the kind of income opportunity that people can make in this industry is amazing, but you don't even necessarily need to have a license in order to be an adjuster. So I definitely want to point that out as well. I'm going to briefly go into some of the income I've made previously. Let's see, let me just share the screen. You guys, I'm sure you can see this past income screen now. If you can't, just let me know. Let's see, where should we start at? Let's see, we'll start here. All right. So this is a paycheck, a direct deposit I got for about a week of work in 2021, $4,050. And again, that was a remote role. I wasn't even making as much money as absolutely possible. So that's one example. This is another paycheck I received for the same role, still a remote role. So I'm just sitting on my butt at home, working, not out in the field, working hard, still making a sustainable income. This is another direct deposit I received in 2021. And yeah, so those are just a few examples. So much information I want to put out there, but I just want to be respectful of the time limit. So I'm just going to have to cut it short a little bit. But again, like I said, to get into this industry, there's not a lot of strenuous requirements. I will say this, it's very important to know like the different options that people have if they're going to get into insurance adjusting. So I'll go into that briefly. You know, as I mentioned, I'm a licensed independent adjuster and a licensed public adjuster, right? So those are two ways that, you know, if you get into the industry, you can make money. You can be an independent adjuster. You can be a staff adjuster working directly for the insurance companies. An independent adjuster is actually the opposite of that. They are not tied to one insurance company. They can work for a number of insurance companies, and that role is actually way more profitable than just being tied to one insurance company. Like I've said before, I liken that to having a leash, being a slave, and you know I don't endorse slavery where I'm coming from. Being a public adjuster is a really great way to make a lot of money as well. I just got into public adjusting about 8 months ago, and you know my income has been continuing to grow. And then the rest of them are essentially just like derivatives of independent adjusting. You could be a private estimator, which is something that, I definitely recommend. It's not really pushed as a role in the industry, but let's say like you've been adjusting for a couple of years, and you decide, oh, I'm not really getting a lot of work, or I'd like to make more money. You could solicit your services as a private estimate writer, or a private property insurance repair estimate writer to let's say public adjusters who don't want to write their own estimates, and then you could charge them a percentage of the settlement total. I actually did that. I'm going to show you briefly an example of that, and then I'll get into my book and close out. But I actually did that. I've been doing that for a couple of years off and on, actually. So these are some of the invoices. I'm going to show you two examples. These are some of the invoices that I charged contractors to write private estimates for them. And as you can see here, let's see. I charged this contractor 1.5% of the estimate total. This was last year.
I'm sorry, Andrew. We
Yes.
still see the thumbnails and not the.
Oh,
the full.
okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me fix that for you. Man, I keep up with that. All right, great. So let me backtrack a little bit. As I was saying, if you choose to be an insurance adjuster, there's a couple different ways that you can make your money. Something that I discovered that I actually really like doing is soliciting my services to other adjusters and offering to write their repair estimates. They save time. I make more money overall than I would if I worked just for like the firms who provide me my work typically, right? So when you're a private estimator for whoever you decide to write your repair estimates for, you can charge them whatever you decide to charge them. I charge 1.5% of the estimate total, or rather the settlement total, or rather, no, actually I charge them 1.5% of the estimate total. So whatever this was, I don't remember what the estimate was, but I made this $1,365 in about 46 hours of work. So not bad for about 46 hours of work. The same year, last year, I actually did these four estimates as well. I actually did the work for the same contractor, and I made about $2,418 in 2 days. A lot of people don't even make that kind of money in a month. Based on my research, most people, most Black Americans, they make about $46,000 a year, somewhere in that range. So again, if you were to come over on this side, become an insurance adjuster, get good at, do independent adjusting for a few years, and then start soliciting your services, you could definitely exponentially increase your income in just a couple of years. So those are just a few things I wanted to point out about the industry. Like I said, low barriers to entry, very high income potential. I haven't even shown everything that's possible to make, but I definitely am passionate about making our youth aware of the opportunities that are available in this industry. So that's what I have right now for the most part for my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing that and close out of that. As I mentioned, I did write a book published in January. It's called Break Into the Insurance Adjusting Profession Now. And then in the middle, it actually says The Comprehensive Beginner's Guide to Entering the Industry and Achieving Financial Freedom. Sorry if you weren't able to see that. So it's a pretty short book. It's about 86 pages. Very high reviews. $19.99. You can get it on iUniverse.com. You can get it on BarnesandNobles.com. These are two websites I direct my audiences to pick up a copy of the book. There is a website that I created. It's actually not finished yet, but it goes in conjunction with the book. It's just essentially just an additional resource guide for the things I wasn't able to put into the book, but just based on all the research that I've done over the years to provide people with the ability to step with their best foot forward going into this industry and give them knowledge that I didn't have that would have greatly benefited me when I first started. So that's that.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for that information and leading us to the book so that people can get a good understanding. This is something that probably most people haven't even thought about as a way to make money. I guess my only question is, once, if you happen to be in those states where you don't need licensure, what would be your next step? Like, you don't need a license, so then what? You create an LLC, or do you just work as an individual? How do you apply for these positions? Where do you find
That's an
these
excellent
jobs?
question. No, great question. Thank you for asking. So that's actually two questions. I did go into that in my book. The fact that the number one thing someone should do is educate themselves on the difference between, or rather, when they should file an LLC and when they should create something like an S corp. Based on my research, I'm not an accountant, but based on my research, my knowledge, making $40,000 or less, you want to create an LLC. If you're making a little bit more than that, then you want to go for the S corp. There's probably other factors that go into that, of course. I included a link to an article that can explain those things in my book. But so you definitely always want to operate under a business structure so that you can, number one, protect yourself as an individual, but also, you can obtain those tax benefits. And that's key. I pointed out in my book where people can go to obtain information on those tax benefits as well. Now, you asked me, where someone would go to get these opportunities. There's a website called www.catadjuster.org. If you go to the careers section, and then you would scroll through the list, I've gotten 90%, 95% of the contracts of the firms. They're called independent insurance adjusting firms. So 95% of the contracts that I've gotten with I've gotten from that website. There are other websites as well. They'll be listed on my website once my website is completed. But that would be the number one way I would encourage people to find work. Go to that website, apply through the classified sections. There's always ads posted on there, and you can send your credentials and your license or just an email of interest to the email address that'll be listed in each ad.
I have a
Awesome,
question.
thank you. Eileen has a question.
Yes, very informative, and this is information definitely need to make sure that a lot of folks, and more folks know about. So you could do this straight out of high school?
Absolutely. I actually met a public adjuster last year, 19 years old, and he told me to my face, I dropped out of high school. And I was so motivated by the fact that this young Black guy didn't give up on life and was able to break into such a lucrative industry, despite not doing something that for so long we've been told we had to do in order to advance in life. So your question was, I'm sorry.
If you could do it straight out of high school, you answered that. The other question is, you mentioned the website. You said adjuster.org. What were the three letters that went before adjuster.org, adj.org? This is the website where you get 95% of your...
catadjuster.org. That's where you would go.
Okay, you were breaking up?
Yes, correct. So I went to the website.
Can you put it in the chat? Oh, here you go. Got it. Thank you. Catadjuster.org. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So it's a catastrophe adjuster?
Right. I'm sorry that my reception's pretty bad. That's what it stands for. Yeah, it stands for catastrophe adjuster. There's so much information I have to. I have. Can you hear me? It sounds like there's a lag. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Yes, I think there's a bit of a delay. Maybe if you cut your camera, that'll help with the audio.
Okay, let me do that. I'm listening. What are your questions?
Well, you answered mine. Thank you so very much. I will order your books. I could give some direction to some folks that definitely need it.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we thank you both, Eileen and Andrew. I don't know if we have any other questions in the audience, but if we don't, for those of you who are tuning in, I hope that you have gotten some really great gems from today. I for sure have some follow-up homework for myself from both speakers. I'm excited to have been able to be with you guys tonight, and I hope that you guys have a phenomenal evening and keep on living the dream.
Thanks for having us. Have a great night, and happy Easter if you celebrate.
Yes, happy Easter to all who are celebrating.
Thank you. I'll be doing Easter eggs with my granddaughter.
Oh, that sounds like a good
Yeah,
time.
right? Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, y'all have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.